guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for clicking on today's video. If you're new here and we have not met already, then hi, my name is Marissa Wight, and on Wednesdays, we get weird. I put out videos on the paranormal, creepy things, true crime, unsolved mysteries, anything that could be considered weird. So if you're into that sort of thing, I strongly suggest that you hit the like button, subscribe, stick around, and get weird with me. So with that being said, let's jump right into today's video. So as the title suggests, we are going to be diving into the mystery of the random abandoned staircases that are found in the middle of the wilderness. That's right, there are random staircases out deep in the forest in different parts of the world, in different forests, that have no explanation of how they got there, or at least not one that's been proven yet. So if you're anything like me and you enjoy the great outdoors, then you like to go hiking and camping and fishing. Those are all things that I do a lot when the weather permits. I'm from California and I don't live super far away from the Sierra Nevada mountains, so I go up there all the time. And although I know this is not really like the safest thing to do, admittingly, I do go out there by myself and hike back into the wilderness and just enjoy nature. And it's honestly, it's really therapeutic, but there is something really eerie and strange about being out in the middle of the true wilderness with nothing and no one around you but you and nature. It's kind of surreal in a sense, and I get why a lot of people enjoy solo hiking and backpacking, and I do too. But I'm surprised. I have never come across one of these staircases that are said to be just randomly out in the middle of the forest. Now, there have been many people recently in the last few years who have come forward after one man shared his story on Reddit. Now, when I first heard about this story, I was actually listening to the Jenna and Julian podcast. Shout out to them, love you guys. And I thought it was really strange. And again, being a person who goes on long hikes and fishes the backwoods and the wilderness, I'm surprised that if this is actually a thing, I've never come across it. So I was skeptical. And I mean, I still am in some aspects, but it is really strange. And there have been a few cases where people have taken pictures of these staircases and there is legitimate proof that they exist. However, a lot of the times, people will go back to try to find these staircases, and where they were once at, when they return, they are no longer there. So the first story, basically in a nutshell, was this park ranger who was walking through the forest and he stumbles upon these stairs out in the middle of nowhere. And he tells his coworker about the experience that he has, and his coworker just kind of like, we don't talk about this, that's something that we just kind of sweep under the rug. Stay away from the stairs. We have been told by our higher ups not to talk about it and not to go near them. So obviously he's like, what? This is normal? I've never even heard of this. And so he's encountering these random staircases out in the middle of the forest. Some of these staircases, you guys, are pretty much brand new in mint condition and look as if they've never even been touched. There are reports of there being staircases in the middle of the forest with white carpet, clean white carpet. So you're meaning to tell me that if there's a random staircase out in the middle of nowhere and it's some old piece of a dilapidated building or, the beginning of a project that somebody didn't finish, it's gonna have mint, clean, pristine carpet? After this man shared his story on Reddit, lots of other people started coming forward and sharing their experiences. There are tons and tons of videos on YouTube and articles on Reddit, and you can just Google it and see a bunch of different people's testimonies of their encounters with these random abandoned or mysterious staircases that are out in the middle of nowhere. Makes me kind of angry that I've spent all these years out in the forest and I've never come across one. Like, honestly, if it wasn't cold right now out there, I would be going up the mountain next weekend just so I could go look for these staircases and get some evidence for you guys and bring it back. But again, I've spent lots and lots and lots of time out in the woods and I've never seen one. So many of the people that run into these random staircases out in the middle of the forest say that when they look at the staircase, they are overcome with this severe feeling of just dread and hopelessness and fear, and a lot of the times they just take off running because it makes them feel so strange. But there have been a few people who were brave enough to take the climb up the stairs, and there's a bunch of different stories about people having mixed feelings once they get to the top of the stairs and different happenings. A lot of these people that have actually walked up to the top of these stairs say that they walk up to the top of the stairs and it's like they're in a different world. Everything gets quiet. They can't hear anything. Forest is not quiet. There's always going to be sounds and different animals and birds and wind and things. It's calm at times, but it's never just dead silent out in the forest. And so for these people who walk to the top of this staircase or these different staircases, to stand at the top of it and just be completely in utter silence is super strange. So immediately people get freaked out and then they go back down the stairs. A lot of people have reported that after they go back to the bottom of the stairs and then they make their way back to wherever they are, they lose time. Or if they're with a group of people, people say that they just disappeared and were gone for hours on end. So this leads a lot of people to believe that these staircases are leading people into a different dimension. I mean, that's a bold statement, but there's a lot of people that claim to have this feeling, and it's been happening all over the world. And what's interesting about this case is it's only come out in the last few years. I've never heard of anything like this my entire life. But a lot of these staircases look really old. Some look really new. It's just random. A lot of people believe that these are just remnants of old buildings. Now, that could be true, but a lot of these staircases are so far back deep into the woods, and there was nothing else, literally just the stairs. So you're meaning to tell me that somebody was building something and had a project going on to either build a house or a cabin of some sort, and that's the only thing that was left was just stairs? There's no other evidence of any kind of construction ever going on? I find that really hard to believe. There's also been some strange reports about the vegetation surrounding these stairs, that it will either be dead or things won't really grow right where they're sitting. So that's also something that's kind of strange. And a lot of these stairs are also reported to be moss covered, as if the land has just swallowed them up and is almost disguising them to where you would miss it if you didn't look hard enough. Now, in comparison to the stairs with the brand new white carpets, I mean, those just make zero sense at all. If you're gonna take materials out into the middle of the forest and build a staircase just to do it, just for a hoax, which seems pretty stupid to me. I don't know who would do such a thing, but people surprise me every day. But even if somebody did try to do that, unless they're loading everything up onto like some type of an ATV, you know, to get all the supplies out there, and there has to be multiple people on it, there's no way. And who would go through all that trouble to load up a bunch of supplies, put it onto an ATV or some type of a vehicle to get themselves out there, build these stairs, and then leave? Who would do such a thing, and why? What would the motive be? All right, so because this story is so interesting to me, I'm gonna jump on Reddit on my iPad, and I am just going to skim a little bit and find one that sticks out to me and read it to you guys. This one is simply called "I Went Upstairs in the Woods," and this is from Reddit user vildeus. I will link it down below to give them credit for this story. And it goes, "Not long ago, I took my then boyfriend to my hometown. As a kid, I had this secret place I like to call my thinking spot, which was a little opening in the woods with a view of the lake. It was around a 15 to 20 minute walk from my childhood home. I live in Norway, so there's woods everywhere. And where I live was at the foot of a mountain surrounded by woods, which I knew well. I have a dark sense of humor. Same. So on our walk to my thinking spot, I told my boyfriend that if I was ever to commit suicide, this will be the place. When he asked me why, I told him the story about how my mom and I got into an argument when I was little because I would not tell her where my thinking spot was. She told me that if I ever got hurt there, she wouldn't be able to find me if she didn't know where I was. And I just thought that if I was ever going to kill myself, that would be the spot. Not that suicide is something I have ever been considering, but I was very depressed at the time and my thoughts were often dark like this. My boyfriend was kind of grumpy that day, and I realized that taking him up a hill to my thinking spot would only make him more grumpy, so we found a place nice in the woods, somewhere that was easier to get to, and we had a picnic. We got into an argument anyways, so I decided to take a walk and try to cool down. Only around 20 or 30 meters away from where we were having our picnic, I found a set of wooden stairs that I've never seen before in my life. I figured someone must have built them recently. They went up a little hill that was not really steep at all, so I remember thinking it was really weird that someone would use time building them. The stairs were also raised above the ground, so it all looked really out of place and weird. I went up the stairs. Suddenly, I was in the woods that I've never been in before. I grew up playing in these woods and I had no idea where I was. 20 minutes from my home. I was not scared though, because my boyfriend was down the hill about 30 meters away. I knew that, even though I could not see him from where I was. I went a little further into the woods and still did not recognize where I was. I walked around kind of baffled. Mostly by the beauty of the woods actually. This forest was prettier than any forest I'd ever seen. There was this big old dying, almost fantasy looking tree that did not fit in with the rest of the forest. It gave me this weird feeling, like when you're scared of heights. You know how you feel like you're gonna jump? I felt like that about touching this tree. Like I knew something bad would happen if I did. But still, I was drawn to doing it. I was too scared to touch it though. My boyfriend called me and asked where I was. Turned out I'd been walking around the woods for almost 2 hours. Oh my God, you guys. Could you imagine? But I was sure that it had only been a few minutes. I had not walked further away from the picnic than maybe max 100 meters or so. Suddenly, I felt this uncomfortable feeling throughout my whole body. I realized that I must have blacked out and walked far into unknown woods. I ran back the way I came from, but the path did not take me to the stairs. Instead, I was suddenly, you guessed it, at my thinking spot. I can't describe it better than it felt like the whole forest had been changing its layouts as I was walking in it. Luckily, I knew the way back from the thinking spot well, and the forest was normal again. I have been back after that. The stairs are still there, but now they just lead to the part of the forest that has always been there that I know. I hope my story was not too long to read. This is a true story. I even went and got my head checked after it, afraid of a tumor or anything like that. So again, guys, this is Reddit. We don't know if this is fact or fiction. This is somebody's story. She claims that it is true. And who knows? Who are we to say that she's lying or making something up? We don't know. We weren't there. It's just interesting either way that this is a worldwide phenomenon. I mean, she's in Norway. There have been stairs reported all over the United States, especially, which what I find weird, in national parks like Yosemite and things like that. So why, if all of these staircases, also on top of the staircases, a mass number of disappearances throughout the years? I mean, people go missing in the wilderness like you wouldn't believe. You don't hear about as many of the people going missing in these national parks as you would think. There's a lot more people that go missing out there that is not covered by the media or that isn't widely covered by the media. Now, in my personal opinion, I think a lot of this has to do with money. If you think about it, all these national parks, they make money when people come visit them. So if people are afraid and they think all this weird, scary shit is going on, it's gonna deter people. So of course, you know, the national parks, they don't want that because that's how they earn money. So I believe personally that they probably try really hard to not make it, you know, a huge deal in the media and to try to keep it as under wraps as they can. Call me a conspiracy theorist, but a lot of other people feel this way as well. And again, with people going missing in the wilderness, this is a risk that you are taking. When you step into the wilderness, there's literally signs that say you are stepping into the wilderness and they're at risk of animal attacks. I mean, there's bears and mountain lions. Just being outside in these elements by yourself, you can die. the weather in the mountains, especially the mountains that I go up to all the time, the weather changes like that. You could be standing at the top of a mountain and it's a beautiful sunny day, and then out of nowhere, it's storming and freezing cold, and you're 2-3 hours away from your car. Good luck. Now, a lot of people get lost or eaten by animals and they just turn up missing. But there are also a ton of cases of completely unexplainable disappearances that happen in these woods. Now, what's weird about these staircases and why this is relevant is because a lot of these staircases have been reported in areas where people have gone missing. So that leads me to believe that there is a possibility that maybe people are finding these staircases and walking up them or touching them or messing with them, and somehow they're disappearing. Now, whether that be them, shifting into another dimension or just vaporizing, I mean, the list can go on and on, but you cannot deny the amount of people that go missing in these woods every single year. It's astronomical, and a lot of people have photo evidence of these staircases. So both are true things. Now, what you choose to believe is what you choose to believe. Again, I like to look at things from a skeptical aspect, but I just find it very, very interesting that this is a thing, and just kind of want to discuss it with you guys and get your opinions on it. What do you believe? Do you believe that it's all a big hoax? Do you believe that there's some logical explanation? Maybe these stairs were going to be, turned into bigger buildings and something just stopped them? Or that they are just the remnants of houses or cabins that were once there and the stairs are the last thing that happened to be left? Or do you believe that there is something paranormal or even extraterrestrial going on, and that these stairs are some type of a gateway into another world, another dimension, or even into the spiritual realm? What do you think? I'm so curious to hear you guys' feedback on this, because I don't know what I think. It's a good thing that it's cold where I am now, because if it was hot, as soon as I had a day free, my ass would be up in the mountains right now, out there hiking around, trying to find some of these stairs to take pictures and share a story with you guys. But unfortunately, it is too cold up there right now, and I'm not about it. So maybe in the summertime, we can make a video out of that. So yeah, that's gonna do it, guys. That is the story of these unexplainable random staircases that are staggered all throughout the world in different forests. If you made it to the end of the video, thank you so much. I truly do appreciate you. And if you do like this type of content, please do not forget to like and subscribe. I'm going to be putting out videos every single Wednesday on all things strange and unusual. So if that sounds like something you're interested, again, make sure to follow along and hit that little notification bell so that you know every time I upload, so you don't ever have to miss any of my videos. Also, if you guys are not already following me on Instagram, I will have it linked below. And I just recently joined TikTok and I'm having so much fun. I dragged the app for the longest time. I thought it was so cringy. And honestly, I probably do embarrass myself on there, but I'm having a good time with it. So if you guys do have a TikTok and you want to follow me on TikTok and enjoy all of the randomness that is on there, then I will also link that down below. And yeah, we can follow me on there as well. All right, guys, stay weird, and I will see you next time.